What's going on, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. You'll return to subscribe. As always, guys, welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. Guys, this is a big story I missed yesterday. Well, I didn't miss it. I just didn't have time to do it. And I'm going to talk about this. This story right here is about a woman that was well respected in her community out there in Staten Island, New York. Shout out to Staten Island. And this woman's name is Janira Roundtree. She was 42 years old. Tuesday night, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to brace yourself for this. This woman, who was known in her housing complex for throwing open barbecues where everybody was invited, and she was well respected in her neighborhood, was killed Tuesday night. When word came, there were 24. Well, at least 24 women out there fighting each other outside the complex. She got word one of them that was mixed into that was one of her daughters or kids. She runs downstairs and tries to break the fight up and gets stabbed to death while police were down there trying to disperse the fight as well. The thing that's sad about this is, besides, her losing her life, trying to, stop people from killing each other, is the fact that nobody's talking about this. Nobody at talk. And I'm more than sure people know who the person that stabbed her was. And it's just heartbreaking that, in a lot of places that are not deemed good places, that are full of bad people, there's still bright spots and good people as well. And they should be remembered. And they should also be respected. Take a look at this story, and we'll come back and talk about this.
All that. Meanwhile, the other news of the night, we're going to begin with the most disturbing story on Staten Island, and it ends deadly. A fight breaks out with nearly 24 women outside their apartment building, and during the chaos, a mother coming out of her house to try to stop it was stabbed. She was well liked, and again, she rushed into the chaos trying to stop all this. She did not survive. Eyewitness News reporter Darla Miles live at the scene in the West Brighton section, trying to come up with some answers here. Darla.
Bill, one of the first things I was told when I arrived here in West Brighton this morning is that you would be hard-pressed to find anyone to say anything negative about Queen. That is how this community knew 43-year-old Janira Roundtree, who died here last night. If you take a look behind me, you can still see that there is a police presence here as the NYPD searches for what led to the fight and the person who stabbed her, because the second thing I was told is that nobody is talking.
Always walking around with a smile, always thinking about, how can we get some money together to barbecue for these kids so they're not in the streets for the summer. Let's hold a barbecue every weekend.
The courtyard at West Brighton Houses is where Janira Roundtree harnessed her own personal resources and devoted countless hours on the grill. Her open-to-all barbecues made her a legend. Sadly, it would be that same safe space she created for everyone else where she would lose her own life to violence.
How did it unfold?
Argument, I don't know about work, but she was being a mom.
Tuesday evening, just after 7:30, friends of the 43-year-old mother, who asked not to be identified, tell Eyewitness News that Roundtree rushed downstairs to help after learning one of her 4 children was in the midst of a large crowd of about 20 women engaged in a dispute. They say one NYPD patrol car had already arrived on scene when Roundtree was stabbed.
And by the time the rest of them came, she already had collapsed on the floor.
Was she stabbed while a cop was here on scene?
After the stabbing, witnesses say the entire crowd took off running.
You just sit there and you just let it happen, and you don't act. You just left her kids without a mother. You could have done more.
Roundtree was ultimately transported to Richmond University Medical Center, where she died.
This neighborhood was important to her because she wanted different for all the kids coming up, and she was trying to make a difference, and she was.
Now, Roundtree was known as a matriarch, an auntie, and a bestie here in this community. They are planning a vigil for her at some point. That is going to be a private vigil with friends and family. I did speak with the family off camera. They are understandably heartbroken, devastated, lots of trauma here. Definitely want to find justice for the person who killed this 43-year-old mother of 4. If you have any information about this incident, please call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-577-TIPS. Reporting live in the West Brighton section of Staten Island, Darla Miles, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
All right, guys, that's the sad story of what happened. I mean, this lady right here, Janira Roundtree, may she rest in peace. At age 42, she was taken off the planet trying to stop ninjas from killing themselves. I'm going to be honest with you, stuff like this really upsets me. Said Janira Roundtree was stabbed and slashed in a fight involving about 20 women near a complex on Henderson Avenue. Pay attention to this. She was stabbed in the chest and slashed in the stomach before being taken to Richmond University Medical Center, where she was pronounced dead. May this woman rest in peace. Now, we all remember back in the day, like a lot of times, if you lived in certain type of neighborhoods, you know, there were people that would just do stuff for the neighborhood, or just, you know, they loved what they did and they loved the people they were around, both good and bad. It cost this woman big. Now, I want you to look at these type of apartment buildings, right? Now, one thing about New York, I know from being up there, if you ain't from a certain building, you can't even go up in there. Somebody will check you like, yo, who are you? You cannot tell me out of all these 20 women, these girls came over to that place, or most likely they was from that same building when the fight broke out, and nobody don't know nothing. I want you to think about something else too. I keep saying there's a deep-rooted hatred that a lot of black folks have for each other, especially when they live on top of each other in these situations where they're packed on each other. And this right here happens. That woman was well respected, but it wasn't enough respect to keep her alive to where somebody wouldn't turn, look at her, stab her in the chest, and then slash her in the stomach. I'm more than sure the person that stabbed her probably ate some of her barbecue before. People flip on you when, like the weather, especially ninjas. And us that know, we know. A lot of people don't want to talk about that because they don't want that out in the open, but it's the truth. We have problems within the black community. We do. And this right here is one of those problems. When you try to do good and stop people from killing each other, you wind up getting killed. What do? They stabbed this woman in front of the fucking police. And then when she was stabbed, if that's not traumatic enough, and I want you to hear me, everybody ran away, even the ones that didn't stab her. Nobody rendered aid. You left that woman sitting there looking up at the same building that she loved, and the people that she fed and the people that she cared about ran and left her. Out of all them people out there, nobody knew her. Her daughter was out there. I'm sure she stood there and asked for help. Only person that came is the police, the radio EMS. Come on, man. Then you get a bunch of people sitting around, man, that's messed up, this and that, but ain't nobody saying nothing. Ain't nobody saying nothing. And that's the thing. People are doing a lot of this violence out in the open now because they think street affairs and stuff like that applies to civilian affairs, and it don't. It don't. You have to have a lot of hate for one group of people to fight another group of people. You know what I'm saying? If I got an issue and it spills over to somebody, how do I have an issue with a whole bunch of people? These girls out here fighting to the death, and somebody died that wasn't even in the fucking fight. And I want you to think about this. 20 women fighting in the street. 20 women fighting in the street. How many of them women you think got kids and are out there fighting in the fucking street? You don't think we got problems? This shit right here is an incessant virus of hate and just malice in the black community towards black folks. When a lot of times the problems that get to a fever pitch of violence ain't really problems. A lot of times an issue between two people will turn out to an issue of dozens. And look what happened. Look what happened. She's gone. Gone. I don't even know the woman. But my heart goes out to her. Because the stuff she do is the kind of stuff I would do. I would throw a barbecue. You don't own it. Just come eat. Come on. Let's congregate. It's nothing wrong with that. It's like nowadays, everything is ass backwards. Bad is good and good is bad. And if you have common sense and you try to speak to somebody with irrational thought, they call you goofy or weird or weirdo. Just goofy terms now for people to try to validate themselves going across the creek instead of with the current. It's hurtful. Hurtful. She might have been a hell of a person. I don't know, but she might have been a hell of a person. But they described her in a negative light. And can't nobody speak up for her when she let her food speak up for that neighborhood and her heart speak for those that she might not even liked. But she just wanted the togetherness and unity just for that time when she was doing her thing out there. And it cost her big. It cost her big. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. We have to start caring. Not just about color, just about people, period. It's like for some odd reason there are those out here now that love to shroud their emotions and feelings and come off to be something that they not. An animal. We're humans. Fucking act like it. See you in the next video. Take care.